Hello everyone, Niko Amii here, and today I'm bringing you episode 2 of my unique video game series called Video Game Fanfiction, where I either go online or I create my own fan-made game, either from Nintendo or anything really. So today I'm bringing you a game I actually wrote myself, and that's Pokemon Luna and Pokemon Solar. And these two games are obviously based on the sun and the moon, and it's a crazy road. You guys are just going to have to get on this roller coaster and ride it to me till the end, because it's going to be an interesting one. That was stupid. Anyways, so at the very start of the game, right, you're a kid that doesn't know anything. You're 10 years old, whatever. And the game is basically about the sun and the moon, depending on which game you pick, collapsing, and there's lots of plot into it. It's almost too much plot for Pokemon. There's 7.8 out of 10, too much plot. So basically, I'm gonna go on the perspective of Pokemon Luna. So if anything happens, like with the moon, vice versa, it with the sun. So if I mention the moon, think of sun. So so you start off on the region of Astra. Yes, Astra, very original, right? And I didn't think of the name for. Okay, you meet Professor Rock, and Professor Rock is a girl, so don't be mean, because she will beat you up. She'll cat slap you. But no, honestly, she's sending you on a mission, and the mission is to stop the moon from collapsing. So everyone's freaking out, right? You start off, your mom's like, ah! And basically you're just like, why is everyone freaking out? And then the professor lady tells you, okay, there is something going on up there in space, and you need to stop it. You guys don't know what. You don't know it's the moon collapsing. All you know is stuff is moving. There's lots of earthquakes happening. The moon is looking like it's falling down, and you need to stop that. So she sends you on a mission. You have to pick a starter, like always. And who are you?
Oh, no.
Sorry, I randomly accept hobos into my household. Anywho, the pizza rolls are done! The pizza rolls are done! Guys, we've been waiting for 5 years! The pizza rolls are finally done! They're done, guys! They were very, very gross.
They were stale.
Like, very stale. So anyways, Pokemon Luna and Solar. Okay, you said your one line, you can go. Anywho, so Pokemon Luna and Solar, you're on the mission, right? The professor told you, okay, you're on your way, might as well fill up the Pokédex. I need some info while we're at it. So basically, you go on your mission, right? And about the third gym, you finally go into a grunt. And the grunt looks very familiar. Not to you in the game, but to you in real life. Because it's the same Galactic grunt that you played against in Sinnoh. So the whole thing is very, like, nostalgic in a way. Because it's so based on astrology and the moon and all that, Team Galactic is going to be the antagonist in this game. So Team Galactic is the evil team, and you basically have to take them down now. And you find out against the grunt that they are the evil ones doing all of the work. They said, hey, are you interrupting our plans? That's what the grunt says. And you're like, what? And then you end up beating him in a battle, and he's like, oh, I'm going back to my base in the 5th gym town, which I'm going to call Not Viridian City.
Not Viridian.
So in Not Viridian City, you tell your Professor Rock lady. I'm going to call her Professor Rock again.
Lady.
So Professor Rock, she's like, okay, you have to go to Not Viridian City. And so you go to Not Viridian City, and you move an asteroid on accident, right? And while you're walking in the town, and you see a hole, and you go down the hole, and there's their huge secret base. And you freak out, and one of your friends, I guess, your rival, he or she comes down, and you're like, okay, this is obviously their secret base. Let's take them down. So you meet Cyrus, which was the main owner of the Team Galactic back in Sinnoh. He is now the co-leader. There's a new guy called, I'm going to call him Snow. I feel like Snow's already like a really popular evildoer name, but we're going to call him Snow, right? And Snow, actually, wait, no. They're all based on planets, I think. So we're going to call him Jupiter. with no R, Jupiter.
Jupiter.
So Jupiter, because there's a Jupiter lady, I think, in before. Jupiter, he is the very, very biggest. He's the main block on the block, right? He is the main mean guy. And you meet up with Cyrus, and Cyrus battles you, and you beat Cyrus, and you now feel like a bit of justice, like you beat him. But even though you beat him, they're not budging, because he's just the co-leader. All he does is tell you, if you win this battle, which you did, you can now go to Simpo City, and there's some things you can find there. So you beat him, and he tells you go to Simpo City, right? And you go to Simpo City, and you meet up with a village outcast. And the village outcast is named, I'm going to call her Krista. So Krista, she has grandparents in the town. I guess she's an orphan. She got adopted by an older couple. I don't know. This is completely coming random too. I don't know. Anyway, she's adopted by an older couple, Cindy and Luke. And so Krista shows you an underground passage because you told her about Team Galactic, and she knows about the whole moon collapsing. You don't know about the whole moon thing yet, but she tells you about all this stuff, and you go down to this ancient hieroglyphic place, and there's lots of ancient messages, and she tells you on this day, let's say it's 2017, May 5th, 2017, the moon is going to start collapsing due to an evil force. And obviously the evil force is Team Galactic. And also in the hieroglyphics is there's a big spirit on the moon, and that's how they're taking it down. Team Galactic in this case are taking the evil spirit from the moon, or the moon spirit from the moon. And as they're taking that spirit down, they're also bringing down the moon, if that makes sense. And it's vice versa with the sun. So they're taking down the sun spirit. And so you at this point kind of freak out, and you tell your Professor Rock Girl all about it, and she tells you need to find Jupiter. And so you go into the 7th gym city, and you realize there's something flying in the sky, and you take a flying Pokemon. If you don't have one, they'll supply you with one. Pokemon's got it covered. And you and your rival go up to the thing in the sky, and it's a huge sky base. You didn't notice it, but it is a huge sky base for Team Galactic. And you go through Grunts, and then you meet up with Jupiter. And then Jupiter says there is the essence of the moon is coming down right now. And as you can see, the moon is collapsing. Like, as you're playing through the game, the region gets slightly lighter, and there's more shadowy Pokemon at the start and dark Pokemon at the start. And then as the moon is collapsing, it's getting lighter. You find more fire and fairy type Pokemon. And what happens is, now, as you're fighting Cyrus, the final boss battle, listen to this. This is a really cool idea. So as you're fighting Jupiter, you see the moon collapsing onto the earth. Like, the moon falling down is the background, and it's the scene of the battle. I think that'd be a really cool idea. So you're fighting Jupiter, the moon is falling down. If you're playing Pokemon Solar, the sun's coming down. And as you fight him, out of nowhere, a Pokemon joins your team. On his final Pokemon, Jupiter's final Pokemon, you get a new Pokemon on your team, and it instantly forces into your slot, okay? So the Pokemon that you're fighting gets switched out. All of a sudden you see, say you're using an Empoleon. Empoleon comes back to you. And then the main moon Pokemon, which I'm going to call Moonrock. Moonrock comes down, and it's the legendary moon Pokemon. And it comes out of nowhere, right? And it completely demolishes Jupiter. It's very strong. It's the spirit Pokemon from the moon, Moonrock. I'm going to call him
the Moon Spirit.
The Moon Spirit. I'm just calling the Moon Spirit legendary. The Moon Spirit then joins your team after you beat Jupiter, and then he's like, he doesn't tell you this, but you figure it out. Now that he's free and not out of Jupiter's hands, he's now free because you beat him. You beat him, and now you turn off the system that's taking Moon Spirit and absorbing him, and now he's free. So the whole moon, it's slowly coming back.
Like,
no, it's not. You're ruining this whole series.
yeah!
So the moon spirit is back into nature. Mother Nature is now one with the moon spirit, or the sun spirit, whichever one you're playing with. And the moon is going back to normal. Everyone's happy. The light is restored. Everything's back to normal. Until the post game. Now, I'm really into post games in Pokemon, and I really hope that they do something with it in this game. So, well, I guess it's my game, so I get to make it up. And so after you beat, they encourage you, okay, you freed the moon. The moon spirit now joins your team because it trusts you. And it's in the ecosystem still because it's still in the team and it's free. Even though it's kind of trapped by you in the Pokeball, technically, it's still in the essence, right? And it's not captured. So you beat the Elite Four gym leader, or Elite Four champion, right? And suddenly, the whole world turns dark.
Dun, dun, dun. I wondered what's going to happen next.
I wonder too. If you didn't think middle-class America wasn't unhealthy enough, guess what we're eating, Boo Bear? Cookies!
Cookies! Cookies!
Anywho.
Who cares?
So basically, Secco is taking over the whole world, and the professor comes to you and is like, hey, you still have the Moon Spirit Legendary, right? And of course you say yes, and she's basically like, you have to take down Secco, the absorbing Pokemon. But you know you're not strong enough to take this Pokemon down. So Krista, the same girl from the beginning who told you about all this stuff, she told you that she comes back and she tells you, hey, I have this stone. It was from the moon when it was coming down. And the stone is actually a primal stone for you to primal evolve. And it's like Mega Evolution, but primal evolution. So you can primal evolve your moon spirit. So now you're strong enough to take down this dark what was the name again? Seppo. Whatever his name was. You take down Seppo. And you're going down to, Seppo is now coming to the Earth to absorb the Earth, but you still have the Moon Spirit. So, you go against Seppo, and you realize quickly that you're still not strong enough, even with the Primal Evolution. But, when you activate that Primal Evolution, when your Moon Spirit turns into Primal Evolution, and then Seppo turns into his Primal Evolution, and you get taken down pretty easily. Suddenly, a second field comes in, a second position. The Sun Spirit comes down in Primal Evolution state, and you guys team up to take down Seppo, the absorbing Pokemon. So, lots of things going on here. You and the Sun Spirit, so the Moon Spirit and the Sun Spirit come together, and they beat the Seppo absorbing Pokemon, Master Pokemon. After this, you get to catch them, obviously, and from there on, it's basically done. There's obviously more plot to the game and more things that happen in between gyms and such, but this is just the main plot. So you still have Astra, the region, and when the moon gets back to normal and everything gets back to normal after you beat the final champion, you have a lot more access to the region that you didn't have before. So after you beat the absorbing thing, all the stuff that he's absorbed in the past comes back, so you're able to travel to more things in the Astra region. So that's a lot of after game, and I'm kind of worried for Pokemon after game wise because they haven't really done an after game since like Black and White. So I'm really hoping they do that in the next game if it's not this. So that's my idea. Pokemon Astra. There'll be other new things. I wanted to add Primal Evolution and Mega Evolution in this because they're not going to make 6th Gen the only thing that has to do with Mega Evolution. It's still a lot of things that we don't know about Mega Evolution, so I think they add that Primal Evolution aspect to the game. As far as a 3rd game, they'd probably do something with the absorbing Pokemon. Maybe if this gets a lot of views and likes, I might do the Pokemon Absorba or something like that, or Pokemon Milky Way. So besides that, basically nothing. The cookies are finished, kids. That's Pokemon Solar and Pokemon Luma. Thank you for watching. The cookies were good. Yum, bye.